Okay, hi guys. I'm supposed to be sleeping, but I can't sleep because my toddler has insomnia. And she's actually at my parents' house right now and she's sleeping, but that doesn't mean I can just go to sleep. Um, so I'm gonna film a video or two and hopefully be able to go to sleep. My hair is crazy. If you guys are new, my name is Maddie. I am a 24-year-old stay-at-home mom and homemaker, and I have a husband named Jacob. And I'm currently in my kids' toy room, if you can't tell. Oh, I have two kids. My youngest is 5 months, like 5.5 months, and my older daughter is a little over 2.5. She's the one with insomnia. She actually has a sleep study. It's not like I'm just saying she has insomnia. Like, she was actually finally diagnosed. She's like never slept. Um, but yeah, I live in Texas. I don't know if I said that. I'm super active on TikTok and Instagram, and I'll post like easy meals and yeah. But today I'm going to be filming the controversial parenting tag, and I actually posted this when I was pregnant with my first, and so I will put that in the description below. I'll put it in the tags if I like the tag thing if I remember. I'm really bad at remembering to do that though, but I will definitely tag it down below. But I'm curious to see if my opinions have changed. I do want to say, like, this is just opinions. I'm not saying I'm 100% right about all of this and you need to parent this way and all of that stuff. But, you know, I've been a mom. I'm a mom of two now. And yeah, I honestly don't even remember, like, my answers. So we're just gonna I'm sure I'm gonna go back and watch this afterwards. I should have watched it first, but I've been meaning to, but I forgot. Um, so we're just gonna jump in, and I'll also post where I got the questions from. So the first question is pro-life or pro-choice. This is so controversial. I am pro-choice. I'm pro-choice, and I think that when you make it to where a woman has to prove that she was hurt, like assaulted, it becomes an attack on women. And I know that this is super controversial. I don't think that there is a perfect answer. Not everyone's religious. Not everyone's going to share your religious belief. Not everyone's going to share when life begins. And I think it's important to understand. Also, like, our economy sucks. Birth control side effects suck. Like, there's a lot of problems. If you want to be super hardcore pro-life, that you should be helping to fix instead of taking away people's right to choose, I feel like. Yeah. Okay, the second one is baby wearing. I love to baby wear. I still sometimes wear my toddler. I don't have a toddler carrier though, and she is over half my height now, and so I feel like she tends to get a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I don't have a good carrier to wear her in for a long period of time, but I do baby wear her for short periods of time when I'm cooking and things like that, and she really enjoys it. I love baby wearing. I baby wear my second baby all the time. I baby wear my first a little bit, but I make really chunky babies. And my first got really chunky, and I feel like I didn't know how to wear a chunky baby. And so I worried that she was uncomfortable all the time. And so, like, I would hold her all the time, but I was baby wearing. And I have more carriers this time, and I am still baby wearing my second quite a bit. The third is circumcision. I am very pro intact. um, it is deemed a cosmetic procedure most of the time, and I just think that we don't need to be cutting off parts of a baby's genitals for aesthetic reasons. It does have a purpose. Again, there's that argument for religion, but I feel like your religion ends where another person's body begins. And so I think it's important to give bodily autonomy. It's just not needed, and it's kind of weird, and I don't know. The fourth topic is adoption. And this was something I used to feel like adoption was always a good thing, or most of the time a good thing. But actually, I was gonna say recently, years ago, started following a woman on TikTok, and we're actually mutuals, but she really opened my eyes to adoption. And I think it's something that's being talked about more. I understand the need for adoption. I truly do. I understand that there are going to be people that are unfit parents. I understand there are going to be women that don't want to get an abortion but don't want a baby, aren't in a place to keep a baby. But I want to say I used to think that it was like, and if a woman decided to give up her baby, that it was just like, I'm giving up my baby and I'm fine. But there's like a lot of trauma there for the woman as well as for the baby. And I think that that's just not talked about a ton. Like I said, it's starting to become talked about more, but like our foster care system is very flawed. I don't like that adoption is privatized. Like it's just tear the whole system down. You know, start over. Back to the drawing board for that one. That is not a good one. So I think there's a place for it. I don't like how we do it. Is that a good answer? The fifth one is ear piercings. I am not piercing my baby's ears. Izzy, my older daughter, has started asking, and I feel like she's just too young. I got mine pierced for the first time at 3, and he didn't like the way it felt when my mom cleaned them, so we ended up taking him out, and I got him re-pierced at 9. I went on to get quite a few ear piercings. So I think when she's older, that's a decision we can make together. I'm thinking like 5 at the youngest. And she is such a smart kid and she is so wonderful, but I just don't think we're there. I don't think any 2-year-old is there, to be honest with you. I don't think she's going to fully grasp what it entails, that it's not just going to hurt once. Like, we have to heal them. And like, she already has sleep issues, so I don't need another thing for her not to be able to sleep. So I wouldn't do it. I don't like it on babies, but and I feel like it's kind of going out of style to pierce your baby's ears like when they're infants. The next topic is breast milk versus formula. This is another one that I feel like has a lot of nuance, and since I've become a mom, I have a lot of thoughts on this. So again, there is a place for formula. There are babies that can't have breast milk. Did you know that? So a couple of things here. One, formula standards in the US suck. I wish we had higher standards for a formula. I wish it was more well known how to properly prepare formula. It's spooky that, it's that's a whole thing. I think breastfeeding is amazing, but I can understand after I had my first, breastfeeding was the best thing. I had a horrible birth experience. I will link my birth story below. And breastfeeding was like the best thing ever. It really helped my mental health. And I was like, why isn't everyone doing this? And then I realized, I matured a little bit, that for some women, they have physical problems, and some of them have mental problems related to breastfeeding. And I had postpartum anxiety and depression. And like I said, breastfeeding helped, but for some women it doesn't. And there's like DMER, like there's all these different issues women can have. You can be an underproducer where you have to then combo feed. There's a lot that can go into breastfeeding. I'm also able to be a stay-at-home mom, and I breastfeed on demand. I was an oversupplier with Izzy, and I got to be a milk donor. I'm not this time. I think that the lack of sleep probably affects that a little bit. But I'm able to produce more than enough for Kennedy, so that's fine. But like, I don't really do bottles. So I like breastfeeding for my family. I am not against formula, but like, we need to be better about our formula. Like, it's a whole thing. I also wish donor milk was more widely accepted, and I wish that there was more milk banks. Like, I like peer-to-peer donation. That's what I did when I was a milk donor with my first. But my closest milk bank, if I wanted to actually drop it off where it could be delivered to like the hospitals, is 2 hours away. So it's not super feasible to like pump a ton of milk and drive there and like donate milk for free. Um, Another thing is that you cannot donate to like this milk bank that I was looking into, that's 2 hours away. You cannot donate milk after your baby turns 1. So after your baby's 1, they do not want your donor milk anymore, which I thought was really interesting. Um, I'm sure there's reasons for that, but like it's a lot. It's hard to keep your baby alive. So it's not, being a mom is stressful. So I think how you feed your baby is not, it doesn't carry moral weight, is what I'm trying to say. So if you formula feed, it's fine. If you breastfeed, amazing. I will say too that it annoys me that people still get offended when you breastfeed uncovered. And I will say I faced in my time of breastfeeding, I breastfed my first until I was 25. She was 25 months old and I was 7 months pregnant. I would get some looks because I was like clearly pregnant and breastfeeding a toddler, but no one said anything. I dealt with one person being ugly to me. I had a couple women come up and tell me I was doing a great job, which was really awesome. And I see you. Online though, if you talk about breastfeeding, if you talk about breastfeeding a toddler, if you talk about breastfeeding while pregnant, people come out with pitchforks. And I wish it was more, I feel like we're moving in the right direction, but it is also, there's still people that are very ignorant to breastfeeding and why some women would choose to breastfeed without a cover. That's a whole nother thing. I recently made a video about my breastfeeding journey and up to this point. But yeah, I am informed as best. I'm not even fed as best, like informed as best. And there is a place, you need to be supported, whatever you choose, by your family and your significant other, and probably medical professionals. You need to be shown how to pace feed. Every baby should be pace fed. And so, yeah, it's a lot. That's a very big opinion, but it's to answer the question, breast milk or formula, informed is best. You know what I'm saying? um The seventh topic is cry it out or other. I am not a cry it out mom. And this is something that people have said with Izzy and her having insomnia is like, people would tell me to just let her cry when she was a baby. And I could not, you guys. I could not let her cry. And she was a colicky baby. Okay, she was colic. And then she just like never slept and she still doesn't sleep great. We've gotten better. And I'm not willing to give melatonin either. That's something that people recommend, and it is really not recommended for kids under 5, and it's not recommended to be given regularly. And I am not willing to, like, there's clearly something wrong with her sleep, and I'm not willing to medicate her. Melatonin is technically a medication. Because it can have lifelong effects. So I would rather be tired now and then figure out why she's not sleeping. I want to get to the root of the problem. But I could never leave her to cry. And I've recently found out because I was like, why doesn't she sleep? And when, I would go to her doctor. I took her to her doctor several times for sleep. Like, my kid does not sleep. She's tired. Help me. And he was like, you don't have to do cry it out. There's gentler sleeping stuff. I would lay with her and be like, just sleep. Like, I know you're tired. Let me nurse you to sleep. Like, she just wouldn't sleep. And come to find out, cry it out would not have made her sleep. When it's something like insomnia, which is what she has, I'm so glad I didn't leave her to cry for hours because it wouldn't have fixed it. I do understand that there's different sleep trainings. I will say now, she does have sleep anxiety as well. Don't know why. She has nightmares and night terrors. Night terrors are pretty normal for this age. Nightmares are not. And it was really hard when we were digging into her sleep issues because we had a child behavioral specialist come in and was like, is she experiencing trauma? Like, is there abuse in the home? You know, is she in daycare? Like, is something traumatizing her? And I'm like, no, I'm home with her 24/7 and we're like a gentle parenting household. Like, I don't, what do you mean? Sounds like she's being traumatized. I don't know. Very scary. Very hard to hear that. But I will say now that when it's bedtime, we tell her to go. We put her in bed and we tell her we'll come back and check on her. And we do go back and check on her, but we don't soothe her to sleep anymore. There's some nights that she's like, I can't sleep, and like she really just can't. She'll tell me I'm tired, I can't sleep. So this was a very long explanation of me just saying I don't like cry it out. I didn't do cry it out. We did technically sleep train her as a toddler after getting the insomnia diagnosis and following what her sleep doctor said to do. Which is, I'll come check on you in 5 minutes, I'll come check on you. But she's able to understand though. She's older. We can talk to her. And she's done really great with it. Now, most of the time when we go to check on her, in 20 minutes, she's asleep. We we put her in bed with water, water cup. She's got her guinea pig in there, a nightlight, a sound machine. Like she's set, a weighted blanket. It's nice in there. I want to sleep in there. But yeah, I don't like cried out. I'm not doing that with my second baby. I don't like it. I don't like controlled crying. I just feel like they're only little once, and I just. I can't stand hearing them cry and like not helping them. Sometimes their crying gets overwhelming when they're babies, especially with my first being colic. And you know what? Five Below has some cheap head earbuds. Like they're $5, and I would Bluetooth and watch like Dr. Phil, listen to Dr. Phil while I just rocked her. And my 5-month-old is actually sick, and she like wouldn't go to sleep earlier, so I was having to rock her. She was crying pretty good because she's not feeling good. She's past that right now. I just dream fed her actually, but I had my earbuds in rocking her, so I just know I am an adult and I don't want to be left to cry. I don't want to be left upset. I don't want to be forced to fall asleep when I'm not in a place to fall asleep. And I feel like this is a skill that they can learn later on in life. And it's so funny to me because like we tell adults that they can work on things and improve things and learn new things. But then it's like with kids, we get so rigid and like, you have to make them do these things or they'll never do them. And it's like, that's not true, like at all. So that's just really funny to me. I don't know. The eighth one is spanking. We don't spank our kids. The psychology is not there. This is another thing I could go on a whole tangent on, but I just don't think that the people that love them most and that are supposed to protect them should be physically harming them for any reason. And even if you're like, I don't hit them that hard, it's just to tell them I'm serious or whatever, like you are still raising your hand to a defenseless child that looks to you for love and comfort, and love, comfort, I can't think of the other word, stability, and you're losing your temper more than likely. And even if you're not, but you're hitting them to instill fear. And I don't want my kids to fear me. Even if you're hitting them to instill respect, respect is mutual. Like I can debunk every single argument when it comes to hitting your kids. I'm not a perfect mom. Sometimes I yell. I really try not to because that's not like, sometimes it's hard though. Sometimes it's hard out here. Not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. I also don't do a ton of timeouts unless Izzy is just like, I'm not able to connect with her and I'm about to like scream. We're gonna take a breather. We're both gonna take a breather. And usually that doesn't involve like setting her away. Like I just will be like, I need you to sit there for a minute. Like I need to sit and you need to sit because mommy's overwhelmed. And I will say now, she's able to be like, I need a minute. She's getting really good at like recognizing her feelings and kind of setting boundaries and being like, I need a minute, I'm frustrated, that kind of thing. I offer her a hug when we have big feelings. That's another thing in our house. Big feelings aren't necessarily aren't a bad thing. Like if you want to cry, that's fine. Please don't yell. You can cry. you can hit a pillow, don't hit people, like it's working through those things, those feelings, big feelings in little bodies. And she's at an age where she is testing boundaries. She is like, rules are made to be tested, and I get it. She is at the boundary testing age. She's also a kid that likes to learn things the hard way. And I have just come to accept that. I was not that way as a kid. She is. And so, sometimes she'll be doing something and my family will be like, hey, Maddie. And I'm like, I know that she's going to fall doing that, but I think we gotta let her fall, and I don't let her get severely injured. But I'm like, I told her if she mixed her Play-Doh, it's not going to be the same colors and we can't separate it out. And she mixes it. She loves to mix her Play-Doh. I'm tired. So I can't think of like great examples, but like, I'm just saying she is a kid. And I'm really about picking our battles as well. If she, like the other day I gave her a banana, I peeled it and I broke it in half like normal. And she wanted to peel it and she cried. And you know what? That would be really hard. That would. I'm being serious. Like, that would be really hard to want it a specific way and then someone brings it to you a different way. And you have such little control in your life. And you wanted to peel the banana. I can sympathize. I get it, dog. I'm here. I'm not getting another banana. We can work through this. But, and maybe the answer in your house is to get a new banana. But I think that a lot of parents... I've seen some parents be like, it's such a dumb thing to cry about. To you. You know what I mean? And it's like, if a rich person, for example, like you have more power and you have more control over your emotions and things like that, or you should. It's like, would be like if a rich person saw you crying about the fact that you need new tires and can't afford them and was like, that's such a dumb reason to cry. To you, it's valid. And the rich person isn't taking into account that you don't have enough money. But if you're a child and you don't have the ability to maybe clearly communicate what you're wanting, or you get overwhelmed easily with big feelings and you don't know how to handle them, you don't have that skill set, yes, to us it looks dumb, but to them it's very real. And so that was a really good analogy. I'm just saying, I think I like to empathize with my kid. I see bad behaviors as an unmet need. I'm like, why are we trying to hit? Like, what's happening? Do you need a hug? Do you need a snack? Like, what is going on? Most of the time, she needs a kiss or a snack, okay? It's a very easy fix that I don't think she needs to be hit over, okay? And that's something like, Jacob and I don't hit each other. We're not gonna hit our kids. So, the thing is co-sleeping. This one's so controversial. So I did end up co-sleeping with Izzy because she just wouldn't sleep. I put our mattress on the floor, because I was exhausted. And it was ghetto. And I was just trying to get some sleep. With Kennedy, they like to be held. I also don't think that co-sleeping is what made Izzy not sleep, because she didn't sleep even when we co-slept. I want to say co-sleeping is different than bed sharing. Bed sharing is in the same bed. Co-sleeping is in the same room. Kennedy has a pack and play in her room. She also has a bassinet. She does okay. She started scratching the sides of her bassinet because she was getting too big for it. So now she's in a pack and play. She gets freaked out in the pack and play. And so most nights she ends up next to me because your girl is tired. I'm tired. We do have the Owlet sock, and I follow the Safe Sleep 7, but if I'm only getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep, I need those 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I'm trying to get her used to the pack and play. I don't know why it freaks her out so much, but she's a pretty good sleeper. It's just right now getting her into the pack and play. That's the problem. So I'm not against it. I think you should be smart about it. Smart about your kids' sleeping space, no matter where you have them. But yeah, I'm not fully against bed sharing. I'm not against babies that have their own rooms from day one. I understand. I think it's important to have them in the same room as you, but if you're also like putting them in their room, I have a baby monitor and I'm gonna get up 47 times tonight. That's good for you. And some babies just sleep better than others. The next thing is schooling, homeschool, private school, public school, all that stuff. I don't love our public education system, and I live in Texas where we are ranked very low. We're not doing too hot. I also don't like that kids are basically taught to take standardized tests. They're not taught to learn, they're taught to take tests, and I don't like that. I actually, until I was in high school, my parents would pull us out of the standardized tests here, and it would really upset some school administrators, and I love that for my parents. Slay. Nothing ever happened. I always got moved up to the next grade, so they schools make it a huge deal, and then like I just wouldn't be there that day, and then they'd be like, she needs to make it up. My dad would be like, no. It was to the point that he had to meet with like superintendents, and then we were even in the newspaper, and I had blue hair. And the school had tried to say that that was against the dress code, but my mom had looked up the dress code before letting me dye my hair blue, like the streaks of blue, and it said that our hair just needed to be brushed and clean. And then everyone started getting like the little bobby pin hair, colored hair pieces, but mine were real. So like my parents were fucking cool. My parents were cooler than yours. Anyway, that's why I had my cartilage pierced in sixth grade. I was that girl. It's the same year I had the blue hair. I was trendsetter. Anyway, yeah, the little hair clip-in pieces annoyed the fuck out of my teacher. I'm sorry, Miss Bridges, but I came to slay, and the other girls were just copying me. But I don't know. I think public school is. I don't love it. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. Jacob and I have talked about me homeschooling. I like that idea. We would get into hopefully a co-op. I don't know if there's any around us, but I would definitely have them in sports and stuff like that. I have said I really don't like primary school, but Jacob is like, I want them to try public school. Jacob likes school. I did not. So it's like this whole thing. I don't feel super strongly one way or the other right now. The school shootings do scare me. The high teacher turnover rate is a little spooky. No, the low turnover rate. They're not staying. They also don't get paid. And some teachers are spooky, man, like not in a fun way. So I don't know. It's a lot to think about. It is a conversation we're having. I don't have an answer right now. The next thing is vaccines. We vaccinate our kids. They haven't gotten me COVID shots, but got everything else because modern medicine. The next thing is medicating children. I feel like I kind of touched on this with the melatonin. So my brother was diagnosed with ADHD as a preschooler, kindergartner, and he had all the professional testing done, and my parents ended up medicating him, but they would check in with him and make sure like he was doing well on the medication, and during the summer he got to be completely unmedicated. I think that was a really good approach. I was put on antidepressants at 14 because I had been sexually abused by my neighbor for 5 years, so I was a child technically being medicated. Like I said with Izzy, I'm not willing to medicate her for sleep. So I think it really depends, if that makes sense. Izzy was also deficient in iron, so I gave her iron, which I feel like iron could technically, like, is it medication or is it a supplement? I don't know. I think it's really unique to each family. I want to say that. But I also think that some parents are lazy and use it as a quick fix. Like, oh, my kid's depressed. Here's an antidepressant. My kid can't sit still. They obviously have ADHD. And I think that it is gross that there are pediatricians and like family medical doctors that will prescribe ADHD and ADD medications without the child being tested. I also, though, on the flip side of that, understand that testing is extremely expensive, and even if you have good insurance, they may not cover it. So that's like, again, another thing where the whole system is flawed. And then you get into our school system where, like, why are we making kids sit still for that long? Like, it's just a whole thing, you guys. So yeah, that is something where I'm not medicating my kids right now. I don't have a reason to medicate them. I will say I give Tylenol as needed. My baby's teething. She needs some Tylenol. Tylenol ain't gonna kill you. It's gonna help your teeth. Izzy, you know, she's a rough kid. You got a black eye, it probably hurts. Tell me it hurts. Here's some Tylenol or Motrin, what you want. So I'm not against like pain meds, like the light pain meds in that sense. Cloth versus disposable. I am a disposable girly. I respect cloth. I'm just not that girl. I'm not that girl. I am more conscious about our clothes and like not throwing away baby clothes, getting them used, reselling them, that kind of thing, saving Izzy's clothes. But I think I could do it if I had a bigger house. I don't have like anywhere to put disposable diapers. I have a very small house. I mean reusable. So I actually nannied for a family that did reusable and I really liked it. She had a really cool setup. I think I could do it if I just had more space, to be honest. But yeah. The last question is homemade versus store-bought baby food, which I feel like this could honestly be like the question could be baby led weaning versus traditional purees. I like a store-bought baby food, but I will also blend up a little smoothie concoction when they're a little older, and I will offer them food off our plate. I tried to do baby led weaning with Izzy and she choked twice. Like, not gagged, choked. Like, I had her at the restaurant over my leg doing back blows and everyone was like, oh my God. I was like, you're done. You're done. So then we switched to purees and she didn't really do solids until like 14 months. She was like, I'm gonna taste it, but like, no thanks. Yeah, Izzy just wasn't interested. Kennedy is already like, give me the food. And we haven't started solids yet. We tend to wait until, well, we're planning on waiting until 6 months. I love a store-bought baby oatmeal. I love, like, I'll make oatmeal at home with my breast milk too, but Izzy really liked the apple cinnamon one. So I think they're useful. I understand they're not always the best. But I don't have a dishwasher and I have a very small kitchen. Again, this comes down to space. I feel like if I had more space, I could do this. But also at the same time, kids are so picky. And my experience is that she would take a bite and then, like, that was it. So I don't know. I think if you do organic homemade baby food, you're a badass. If you do store-bought baby food, you're also cool and you're my kind of mom. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal either way. But I tend to do store-bought. I do. And I don't even do the organic ones. The meat ones freak me out a little bit. I think those are a little nasty. And the shelf-stable yogurts, not a fan. I tend to get like regular yogurt and then the meat. I try to give meat that we're eating, like chicken. I'll blend up some fresh chicken type thing. So the answer is sort of. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that it was probably very long-winded, but it is to share my opinion so y'all can get to know me. Again, this was just my opinions, what works for my family. The only thing I'm really against, I'm against a couple things. I don't like circumcision. I don't like hitting kids. If you hit your kids, we're not gonna be friends. But anyway, what kind of bug is that? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is completely free and you'll get to see my face more. Like I said, I'm way more active on TikTok and Instagram, so you should go check me out on there as well. I'll have my username in the description and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.